Hi, I'm Max Walker&Williams, and today we are going to be looking at the future of cryptocurrency. What does the future hold? And the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. So 10 years plus, because between now and then, there's still a lot to decide. Fortunes are going to be made and lost. Projects are going to really succeed. Other projects are really going to fail and fall by the wayside. And some projects that may succeed may not even exist today. So when I say the future, I'm talking 10 years plus. What does it all look like when the industry's matured a bit, calmed down and plateaued? What are we going to be left with? That's the first part of this video. And then the second part of this video is a message that I think is really important. So please hang around to see that, which is that we are all stronger together. And it's something that I want all the guys out there to be promoting. We are much, much stronger together. And I will be talking about that towards the end of the video. So as I say, please stick around. I'd like to start the video with an apology. I am losing my voice. I'm too legit to quit, so I'm not going to wait to make this video, but forgive me, I am losing my voice. It's going to be music to Laura's ears. When I get home and tell Big Boss I'm losing my voice, she is going to be over the moon. It's like her birthday and Christmas come at once. Okay, straight into it. So it's a very new industry, so there are a lot of people piling in. Happens in every one. Oil, gold, www. etc. So what do I mean? Okay, so much like in the Wild Wild West, and you'll have heard people talking about this in the crypto space, that it's like the Wild West, myself included, and that's actually really, really true. Because this new frontier has been discovered. It may not be physical land, but it's definitely digital retail space. And there's a bit of a gold rush. There's people going around, snake oil salesmen selling things that aren't real or true. There's rug pulls. There's con projects like Squid Game's token that was a complete con. There was nothing. They raised a load of money from people investing, speculating, much like the gold rush, and then only to find out that the mine has no gold in it. In fact, the mine doesn't even exist. So there's people conning people, but then there's really good people too. And it's a complete a new industry. And just like oil being discovered, or a gold rush in America, or America being discovered, or more recently the World Wide Web boom in the late 90s, where no tech company could do any wrong. That is kind of the era that we are in at the moment, and the new gold rush, the new oil rush, the new www. World Wide Web rush, the tech boom is the crypto and NFT within the crypto space boom. So I'm sure you've seen some of the NFTs going for serious money, a bit like Tulip Mania. So we've had loads of these before. So looking at those helps us sort of predict where this might go in the future. So as I say, a lot of people piling in, and while there's new money continually coming in, it's going to continue to obviously balloon because there's more money coming in than there is people exiting. So you do have people who are running scams, and they'll set up a project, they'll take in a load of money, and then they do a runner never to be seen again, or even sometimes come back for a second go. So that's money that's leaving the industry through scams and things, and then there's people taking profits and retiring and doing that sort of stuff through the NFTs and things, and that's fine. But there's more money at the moment coming in, new money coming into the industry than there is leaving. So, and while that's still true, it's going to continue to boom. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more money people make, the more people come in, sort of want to pile in, and the more people pile in, the more money people make, and so on. So we've seen this loads of times in all different areas of human existence. What happens next? Then the bust comes. So it's inevitable. It happens in everything, from rabbits in the British countryside. So the rabbit population swells and swells and swells and swells, and then mycomatosis comes along and kills a load of rabbits. Almost makes, practically instinct. When I was a little boy, you never saw a wild rabbit, and now they're slowly coming back, and it's building and building up. So it's very natural for this expansion, shrink, boom and bust. A lot of people can't get their heads around that, but once you get comfortable with that and you learn the rules of the game, you can play the game and win, whether it's boom or bust. Money can be made in both. And if you think of it as like the property, for example, the property market, if prices didn't correct and go down, then new buyers coming into the market wouldn't be able to get on. So if the carousel doesn't slow down, new people can't get onto the carousel to ride it. And then it speeds up, and then it slows down, and then it speeds up, and it's the evolution of everything natural, boom and bust. When this happens, something good happens. So we actually saw this quite recently, as I say, in the World Wide Web, the tech boom. And that was that there was all of these sort of pets.com. So for people who don't know, pets.com raised millions, tens of millions of pounds, and they had a great domain, pets.com. It's pretty obvious what they do, and so on in America. And they raised all this amazing venture capital money and pension fund money and private individual money. And it turns out they actually didn't even have a business plan. There was no business plan, there was no sort of model. They were kind of like, we'll raise the money, and then once we have enough money, we'll build something, you know, we'll sort of fake it till we make it, that kind of mentality. And without any sort of fact checking or due diligence, people just throw in money at it because it's a boom and you can't lose and so on. So that happened, I'm not taking away from the fact that, you know, people lose their life savings and that's awful and it should never happen. But something good does come out of the ashes of the fire. And in the World Wide Web boom, that was PayPal, Amazon, Google, and companies like that were formed in that boom time. And a lot of the stuff that you guys have never probably even heard of, like pets.com, fall by the wayside and are washed away with the bust. And the ones that are left standing go on generally to become very successful companies, such as PayPal, eBay, Google, and so on. The only projects left are ones with real utility and use. Great news if you're invested in projects like Hbar Hashgraph, Ripple, Ethereum, Solana, and the likes. Not such great news if you're invested in meme coins, joke coins, and coins that have no real substance or utility, because they just won't stand the test of time. They will be washed out with the bust when the bust comes. And it's also worth mentioning, a lot of people think they're geniuses when the tide's coming in, and things are good and things are booming, everyone's a winner. And there's a saying that all boats rise with the tide. And that basically means it doesn't really matter how buoyant the boat is, how well built it is, what it's made out of, they all go up when the tide comes in. So that's kind of like a reference to the fact that all these projects that maybe some of them shouldn't be doing quite as well as they are doing well because of all this new money pumping in, and not actually because they've got any utility. But the bust has to happen. Prices can't continue to rise. It's mathematically impossible. And when it shrinks, the only ones that will be left are the ones that are not left wanting. But that bust has to come. It's natural, as I've described. And when it comes, prices have to reduce. It's a mathematical impossibility for things to continue to rise. Whatever goes up has to come down. When that happens, bad news, like I say, for the coins that don't have any utility, and fantastic news for the coins that do, because they're no longer judged in the same way with the moon boys and all that stuff, with the prices going crazy. So the only ones that are left. Circa 100 projects, but the 80-20 principle will apply. Think OMI VV. Okay, so what does this mean? What I think is at the moment we've got circa 15,000 different cryptographic projects in existence, give or take 15,000. I think there'll be about 100 projects left. I really believe it'll be whittled down to 100. I could be out, it could be 500, but I think it's going to be around 100 real decent sized projects. Of course, there'll be hundreds of smaller ones, but 100 real projects that you could name and know relatively well, or not name them all, but you know what I mean. Think OMI VV. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, of the 100 projects, there's going to be some that are sort of massive behemoths of industry, and then there's going to be loads of smaller projects that are more specialized, like OMI with VV. So if you're not familiar, VV is an app you can download, a bit like OceanSea with Ethereum, and they sell NFTs for comic books. They've got Marvel, and they've got a few other, decent big names. They've got the 007 James Bond franchise, which, I'm a big fan of, as you'll know if you watch the channel and have seen my Range Rover videos. Click the link in the description below if you want to see that. And I bought all of the complete first collection of No Time to Die, the first 007 movie. I did that because, one, I'm a big Bond fan, as you'll know if you follow my stuff, but also because I think it will go up in value as NFTs become more and more the norm with the general public. So OMI, perfectly good project, loads of utility, doing a fantastic job in partnership with VV. Great, it's got utility, it's got a purpose, it's got a reason to exist, other than I believe somebody will pay more for it tomorrow than I'm willing to pay today, the greater fool theory, so therefore I'll pay for it. it's actually got a purpose, it exists for a reason. So they're going to be absolutely fine, I'm sure of it. And VV, like I say, very user-friendly interface, very, very good app. Personally, I think it's great to use. So that's an example of one of the 100 projects at the smaller end of the scale. New projects will pop up, including nonsense ones, think collector cards, but that number will hover around the 100 mark. So what I mean by that is, I think we'll have 100 core projects, and they kind of like will grow and expand as time moves on, and maybe the top leader will become second and second first and so on, and they'll vie for position potentially. And I do think other projects will come and go. So someone will have some sort of like Tamagotchi type idea, and that'll be a new cryptocurrency project, and that'll moon and everyone will be talking about it. And then a few weeks, months, maybe a year later, it'll have disappeared, no one will remember it. And there's collector's cards like this. So, I mean, Tamagotchi is a great example. I know it's not a collector's card, but Tamagotchi is a great example of a fad, and there will be fads. I think that's what I mean when I say collector's cards. There will be fads. So, you know, when I was a kid, football collector's cards were massive, and now they're not so much. They're still about, but they're nowhere near as big as they used to be. And things will come and go. Pugs, remember pugs? So pogs or pugs? Pogs? Anyway, pogs or pugs. Remember those, the discs, and we used to collect them as kids? So that's another one as an example. So we'll have cryptocurrency maybe sort of wrapped around NFT style projects, and it'll be the new Tamagotchi, the new pugs, the new Rubik's Cube, the new whatever. It'll come up, it'll be a flash in the pan, and it'll go away. Perfectly legitimate, but it'll just run its natural course. So we'll have those kind of guys come and go, and then we'll kind of always have this consistent 100 mark, I believe. So what is the 80-20 principle? What is the 80-20 principle? Well, in 1897, an Italian economist by the name of Vilfredo Pareto, yes, forgive me if you're Italian and I've completely butchered that, but it's my best attempt, discovered that 80% of the land in the UK, in the United Kingdom, was owned by 20% of the population. And actually he started looking at that on a county by county basis, and he found that again, 80% in every single case, 80% of the land was owned by give or take 20% of the population. He started looking at other things and realized that 80% of the results that he got in his life were from 20% of the effort that he'd made. He saw that with a lot of businesses, 80% of their income of the business came from 20% of their customers. And there's actually a book called the 80-20 principle, and I strongly recommend you read it because it's a fascinating book if you are interested in business, if you have your own business, because you'll quite quickly see that actually 80% of my revenue comes from 20% of my customers, and 80% of my problems and my complaints come from a different, or maybe the same 20% of customers. And you can make some really good and really accurate business decisions based on the 80-20 principle. It's a fantastic book. So the 80-20 principle will apply, and if you actually look everywhere, you start to see the 80-20 principle everywhere. If you look at the #1 worldwide selling artist, you'll see in the charts for downloads, their charts are like that, and then the next one is all the way down here, and these guys all share 80%, and this one person has 20% of the market, or vice versa in some markets. You know, so you start looking at fashion, mobile phones, technology. I'm willing to bet that 80% of all downloads on iTunes, give or take 80% of all downloads, are with 20% of the companies that do it, or maybe even less than that. So it's a really good barometer. Obviously it's not exact science, but it's applicable with most things. So this is kind of what it will look like. I'm not, by the way, making a future prediction. I'm not saying that Hbar will be, Hedera Hashgraph will be the blue bar, and the XRP will be there, because I don't know what's going to happen with the lawsuit. I don't know the future and so on. This could actually be the dominant player in the future, could be a cryptocurrency project that doesn't yet exist. So I just want to make that clear. These are just projects that we all know. So this is kind of what I think it will look like, and we will have 96, 97 projects along here, and then there'll be 2 or 3 seriously big players in the space. One thing I haven't included on the board, which I probably should have actually, I should have put it in a box here. In fact, I'm going to do it. For the first time ever, I'm going to edit the board live on the video so you can watch me actually do it. So I'm going to put another little square here, and the reason I'm doing this is because I should have mentioned this in this video actually, so I'm going to do it right now for you. And that's quant. So quant, I think, is going to be a big part of the future. And I believe that because of the technology and because of what it does. It's not strictly a cryptocurrency project like other cryptocurrency projects. So I am going to be doing a video on quant shortly. What it is, we'll get to the bottom of it. I'll explain it in a way that everyone can understand, hopefully, and why it's going to be so important, I think, potentially to the future. I'm not going to be doing a Hbar hash graph versus quant, because quant isn't a cryptocurrency, isn't strictly a cryptocurrency project. It's more like software, but it's software that's going to be, I think, potentially very, very critical to the cryptocurrency market. So, industry, sorry, should I say? So I'm going to put on the board QNT. Okay, quant, and I'll talk about that now. And why Bitcoin and quant are floating in the middle of the chart. Okay, so we've got that. So, as I say, I don't know which projects are going to be in which order, so this isn't a prediction. It'd be amazing if this is actually how it ended up. How fantastic would that be? But as I say, I don't know. These guys are all going to be use cases and utility, and I think the Bitcoin could very well still be here in 10 years plus time, but it's up here in its own little box because I think it won't be here because of its utility. It won't be here because it has a practical purpose other than a store of wealth and the digital gold, which is a video I created a couple of weeks ago about Bitcoin potentially being digital gold. If you want to watch that video, please click the link in the description below. I also think that quant will have its place. And I don't think it'll be like Bitcoin. It won't be competing for utility, and it won't be competing with these guys in the charts. It'll just sit there as a store of wealth for incredibly wealthy people, and it'll just have that singular purpose. And I also think that quant and the way it's going to connect all these different projects and allow them to intermingle, that's going to be an important player too, but it won't be in direct competition with any one cryptocurrency project. It'll just be the software that underlines all cryptocurrency projects. So that might not make so much sense with quant, but I will come to that. I promise I will make a video on that, no worries, and I'll do it relatively quickly. And with Bitcoin, as I say, I've already created that video just explaining about the digital gold. So this and quant quite nicely bring me on to stronger together. We need to learn to support each other as an industry. Cross-platform is the future, so let's start now. And how do we do that? We do that through support, education, and improvement. What I mean by this, guys, is particularly on Twitter. Twitter can be a fantastic place for community. It really brings people together, allows us to instantly communicate with each other and support and rally the troops and all that stuff. And it's really, really positive and good. It's also, I see, a place that people sort of abuse and give abuse to other projects. And I really think it needs to stop. I don't think it's healthy, and I don't think it's helpful. And I'm guilty of this too, by the way. I'm not a troll by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to tease as much as the next person. So I have teased other projects and things, and I think there's a healthy, that to a certain degree is healthy. And it's healthy because it encourages people to try harder, do their best, encourage, and come back and prove that they can do something well. What isn't healthy is constantly going on in a cult-like manner, just blindly believing in any one project. It's really important because what if, and it's a big if, I get that, but what if Hbar falls down? What if there is a flaw that hasn't yet been exposed and no one can say it can't happen because no one can see the future? And then that falls away. And if you're all in on that project financially, emotionally, it's just going to be a disaster for you. So I'm not saying necessarily to hedge your bets, as it were, but I'm just saying to take a view on other projects too and give people the time of day. There are different projects that specialize in different things. So although I do believe clearly from the videos that I've done that Hbar versus all the other projects so far have pretty much won and is the best all-rounder. But there are projects that are fit for purpose. Bitcoin's a great example. It is a store of wealth. It clearly has a fantastic head start and is making great roads in the world in introducing people who otherwise wouldn't have been in crypto into crypto. So it's doing a good thing. Bitcoin's doing a good thing for the cryptocurrency industry in terms of exposing it to people who, as I say, normally wouldn't have ever heard of it. And there's going to be people sat at home and all they hear when they watch the news is Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, Bitcoin in this country, Bitcoin's bad, Bitcoin's good, Bitcoin energy, Bitcoin too expensive, and all that stuff. And eventually at some point they're going to go, bloody, that's all I hear now is Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And then they go on Google or they go on YouTube and they come across this video and then they start their educational journey into crypto space. And Bitcoin, they might never own a Bitcoin, but Bitcoin led them to YouTube, which led them to this video, which led them to another video about what is Hedera Hashgraph finally explained. And then they become an investor, a user of, or a developer on Hedera Hashgraph. And they never would have discovered Hedera Hashgraph or Ripple or Solana or BNB or OMI or any of the other projects had they not heard the people in the news, harking on about Bitcoin. So I think what I'm trying to say is be supportive. It's more than fine, well-natured and well-humored banter and all that sort of stuff's fine and teasing. But if Solana, if the whole thing crashes, is there anything we can do to help? Can we support? Can we onboard people? Can we help them connect so that they have a backup on Hedera, but they want to operate on Solana? If people want to operate on Solana, good luck to them. That's fantastic. As long as people aren't being robbed like they are with the gas fees on Ethereum, which is a whole nother conversation. As long as they're having a good time and they're happy, good luck to them, okay? But how can we help them? So if Solana does crash, why is that happening? Is there a way we can improve? Because if we come together as an industry, the whole industry and each project within that industry becomes stronger in its own right. And it isn't going to be a zero-sum game. I genuinely believe that there's going to be a place. These are all, even if it's half, if this one is half that one, and I'm not using any names deliberately, but if this one is half that one, if Ripple is half Hbar or Hbar's half Ripple, in terms of use cases, market cap and all that stuff, we're still talking massive, massive, massive markets and massive industry. So we can all win together. Everyone is very early to this, and I think that the other thing that's worth considering is looking at it from the opposite end of the telescope. So let's say we don't do any of that and we continue to all this infighting and cultism with sort of this religious cult of my project is the best project in the world and I'm not willing to listen to anybody else that says anything different, and I'm going to block you on Twitter, and only people who agree with me can reply, and I'm in this echo chamber, and so on and so forth. If we continue to do that, people become alienated. So there are people who probably need the benefits of cryptographic technology more than anyone else. Some of the most vulnerable people in society. Old people, very young people, poor people. Some of the most vulnerable people in society probably need cryptographic based technology more than anyone else. And they're hesitant because every time they go to explore and dabble, they're bamboozled by people saying, Solana's the best project in the world and everything else is crap. No. Don't invest or operate on or use anything on your phone with Solana because it's junk. You want to be on Hedera Hashgraph. No. Forget Hedera Hashgraph. It's a centralized garbage, as someone once famously said. You want to be on Ripple. You got to be on Ripple. No. Ripple isn't going to be here in a year's time because of the SEC and all that sort of stuff. It's a security. It's going. Can you imagine somebody who doesn't fully understand the space at the best of times, and they have all this noise and people screaming and slagging each other off? What if, no matter which project they first discover, whether it be Bitcoin, OMI, Solana, ADA, Wax, Hbar, XRP, what if the response was, welcome to an incredible industry. There are different things, different projects for different use cases. What is it specifically you're interested in? And we can direct you to the right project. This is a great, overall project. This one's specifically for finance. This one's great if you want to collect Marvel comics. This one's fantastic, and so on and so forth. What a different, if we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, we're all different brands, I get that. But if we all come together and we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, imagine the power we would have as an industry instead of all this infighting and nonsense. Just my thought, or maybe I'm an idealist. I don't know. Maybe it'll go nowhere. I don't know. Who knows? But wouldn't it be nice? And I genuinely believe in most endeavors in life, we are far, far stronger together than we are apart. And I know the Americans believe that. Our cousins over the pond believe that because, one of their mottos is "United we stand, divided we fall." And I really think that's true of the crypto industry. Okay, I hope this video has been informative for you and my little version of what I think the future holds for the crypto industry space. Don't forget that video on Quant is coming soon. So if you're a big fan of Quant, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And don't forget, the 21st of February, I am launching my NFT Walker&Williams partner program. I cannot wait. If you're on Twitter, follow me at @MWalker&Williams. We've just finished our first digital online treasure hunt for 15,000 Hbar. It was incredible fun, a lot of hard work for me and the team, but great fun to watch people sort of picking up clues all over the internet and on this board and so on and so forth. And now we're currently, as of today, we're running a second competition, and that's going great guns on Twitter right now. Even if you're not on Twitter, I strongly recommend you sign up. It's free of charge, easy peasy to do. Create a little account. You don't have to have a picture or anything, and then you can follow at Walker&Williams, and you can get involved and enjoy some of the fun and the free giveaways and the competition and stuff that goes on there. There's a great bunch of people, a fantastic community that we're building over on Twitter. As always, thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you soon.